Thank you, Harry, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and colleagues. I'm glad to see many colleagues here because this is about our future colleagues and how they will be trained and what they will be able to do after the education in the medical schools. Yes, indeed, the evaluation group had a meeting this morning. Thank you for the group for a nice and active meeting, and we have a wide range of expertise. Also, several of the members have been evaluating other medical schools before, so I think Finland will benefit from the previous experiences of many of the members. I promised to talk about what the evaluation has been planned, how the evaluation has been planned, and what we will be doing. And the Finnish evaluation of Education Center has, at the appointment of Ministry, as Johanna told, started this evaluation, and we have 5 universities in Finland that do degree programs at Finnish universities, and this is indeed the first evaluation of the MD programs. Almost everybody with whom I have talked about this is very surprised and says, really, hasn't it been evaluated before? And I have learned to answer that, well, the universities are independent units and they are very well aware of what they are doing, and they are serious about the quality of their teaching, and they evaluate the teaching themselves. But now we have an opportunity to have these 5 good universities help each other get even better through this evaluation. The work started already last year with a project planning group where university representatives were participating, and as both Harri and Johanna told, this will be according to the principles of enhancement-led education. So there will be no ranking list, and no universities will be closed based on this evaluation. Unlike in some countries where the organization is different, the evaluation can actually lead into serious critique of the programs and sometimes even closure of programs. But here we don't have that in mind at all. We are going to have even better medical undergraduate training programs after this. So what we are aiming at is, first of all, description, to provide an overall picture of the state of the education, what is done, how it is done, and how it most importantly relates to the changing environment we live in that Johanna so well described. The competence requirements of doctors' work in 10 years are something that we cannot really even fathom. We can see a little bit of how the changes are going, but the people who have entered medical schools this fall will be working in a totally different world from what the social and healthcare is now. So the environment will be changing, and the universities need to really think about their training in relation to that. The results will be published in the spring next year, in June, and we will concentrate on the strengths of the educational programs, recommendations for development of these, and sharing good practices from program to program, and it supports universities' own development work. So in addition to an overall evaluation, we are going to give feedback to each of the universities, and the universities will then decide what they do with both the summary evaluation and their own specific feedback. There are 3 perspectives of this education, and we are looking at it from the perspective of the schools, the teachers, those who are planning and providing the education, but also the perspective of medical students and recent graduates, and a broad range of stakeholders in working life, those who receive the products from the universities. And I'm really glad to see that there are a number of representatives from all the ranges of stakeholders here today. because stakeholder participation is important. We don't know everything. We are very open to your suggestions and questions, and we will be getting a lot of material from all these different stakeholders during this process. The areas of the evaluation are how education is being planned, how it is being implemented, what are the competence and working life skills produced by this education, and how continuous development and renewal of education is built into this program. So we are looking both at the structures, sort of the strong existing things in the educational programs, and a lot of detail that changes more rapidly than the structures. So in more detail, from the planning side, we are looking at what the pedagogic framework is and what kind of process is being used when the curriculum is being prepared. We look at the objectives of education and the degree structure, and we already have received the universities' summaries of their own curricula, and it's very interesting to see how thick the different reports are and how in detail they are describing the curricula. Plus, what are the principles of education? There are lots of similarities, but also some interesting differences. And then we look at the planning of education, how there the changes in the operating environment are being considered. In the implementation of education, we look at the learning environments. We actually make a one-day visit to each of the medical schools. We look at their teaching and supervision methodology. We look how they assess their own learning processes and outcomes. We look at how teacher competence is created and kept current. And we try to look at the well-being of the university community. Of course, we don't see it in a day visit, but I think we can get an impression, and we are going to ask, how good is it to work here? We are meeting different groups at the university visits. We are meeting the university structure people, we are meeting the teachers, we are meeting students and alumni, and we are meeting those who then get the newly clacked doctors. The other two areas of evaluation are competence and working life skills. We are looking at the internship arrangements. We are looking how students get career guidance, what kind of career paths are being proposed for them during the studies. We are looking how they are learning to learn, how they will be able to utilize continuous professional development in their lives, and how actually the universities are cooperating in practice with the working life. And then, last but not least, we are looking at how universities forecast the needs in competence and renewal. We look at how they use evaluation and feedback currently and what they are planning to do with this. And we look at cooperation between universities. We know there is a lot of cooperation already, and we are going to ask how they can get even more out of it. I was last week giving a PhD student session together with Minna Kaila in Helsinki, and we were having a link to Kuopio University so that their PhD students could participate in the same session. We thought that this was a great idea, only we hadn't announced it well enough in Kuopio, so there was only one person there, but there was one person. And all this, again, in relation to future competence needs in environments that we cannot even think of today. The schedule of the evaluation looks like this. The Higher Education Evaluation Committee has approved the project plan. The summaries of the curricula have been collected, and the evaluation team has started its work today. We are getting the unit and student self-evaluations, and the student associations say that this is the first time that anybody ever asks them how the universities are succeeding in teaching, and they have been quite active providing their answers. Also, the people at FINEC were clever enough to say that okay, this is the first time we ask the students, let's not limit how many pages they can provide, so that nothing will be left out due to lack of space. Everybody else is given only 10 pages, but students can tell as much as they please. And the seminar for stakeholders, thank you all for coming, and you are all going to give some input very soon. Then we do evaluation visits to each of the medical schools. In March, we will have a national seminar with the preliminary results, and the final report and conclusions will be out in June, and also the unit-specific feedback. And then there will be an evaluation of the evaluation, how we did and how it could be done better the next time. So FINEC has thought about it all. It's wonderful to be supported by such a great team. Here are the visit times to the universities. We hope we can show our southern guests some snow, and we are prepared for possible problems in flying traffic, but we know that Helsinki-Vantaa never closes. And I think that we are going to pick the best berries of the education and divide them with everybody, and the working group is ready to get our hands dirty in the evaluation. Thank you very much.